Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to another episode of The Standard is the Standard. That is the BehindTheSteelCurtain.com flagship podcast. Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time now. I'm Jeff Hartman, editor of BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, and that guy to the left of me, he's messing with his hat. That's Lance Williams. What's up, Lance?
What's happening, ladies and gents? I got to make sure you guys see the, I don't know what it's called, a fuzzball?
It's a tassel.
A tassel. Oh, okay. That is?
That's what we've always called it.
Okay.
What did you, growing up, what did you call that hat?
A beanie.
A beanie. See, and where I grew up, we called that a toboggan.
They used to call it toboggans as well. That's real old school, though.
My parents would say, "Hey, make sure you go grab a toboggan," and so we'd run back in the house and we'd get our hat.
But isn't a toboggan a sled?
Well, but words can have more than one meaning.
True.
You know, like look at the word "run." You can run. You can have a run in a stream. You can have a run in your hose. There's a lot of different.
Yeah, I don't want to, do my Pittsburgh joke.
I know that words aren't your thing. You're numbers.
No. I don't want to say my joke about West Virginia.
Well, you've said that enough. You said that
enough. A toboggan.
A toboggan. That's right. Now
I have heard that though.
Yeah, it's very localized to that area. Anywho, let's get started. Pittsburgh Steelers talk. That's what you're here to hear. That's what you're here to hear. Those are two different spellings there for Lance out there.
He's clever.
I do my best. The Standard is the Standard. We've been doing this for a long time. And before we get started, if you're watching live on YouTube and you're in the live chat, we hope that we really appreciate you first and foremost. But secondly, like this show, give us a comment, be a part of the live chat if you want to. And then also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you set up your notifications. And if you're on audio platform, follow whatever platform you use. So like, for instance, I use Spotify. Hit that follow button so that you're notified every time there's a new podcast. If you're an iTunes guy, leave a good comment. Subscribe to the channel there. Lance, you use iTunes? Is that your platform of choice?
I use Overcast. But okay. I probably subscribe to the show on 10 different platforms. I try to cheat the numbers. Big up to Steeler for Life. Steeler for Life must be from Pittsburgh because skull cap is actually what I grew up. That's what it was called when I grew up, was a skull cap. And Philip, big up to Philip. He said you're going to make him into Captain America.
Captain America. That's right. Yeah, I've actually spoken to Philip off the air. He followed me on Instagram, sent me a message. And here it is, Steeler Nation.
See now, Philip. See, Philip, you're going to have to check in. We want some before and after pictures.
Well, you'll get it.
Yeah, we want them on the show, Philip. So you better be following the program, Philip. This is Jeff. This is J21.
That's right.
You got to represent J21 well, Philip. So we want to see. Now you've been exposed. We're going to put you on YouTube. Nobody's shaming. You better get down and you better get with it, man.
Speaking of which, just a complete sidebar. He says JH21. He's referring to the TB12 line of everything. I was looking for a new protein powder the other day. Do you know how expensive his stuff is? Like, it was in the Google search, the TB12 plant-based protein powder. It's like $45 for like an 8-ounce bag. It is absorbent, incredible. I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Blue magic.
Tom Brady's making out with a bank.
He's selling that T Magic. Well, he has to sell T Magic to make up for all of those alleged pay cuts he was taking when he was making still $30 million and not 32, allegedly.
Well, you know that whole story about how the Patriots were funding his TB12 program, and then the TB12 program was paying Tom Brady. That's old news.
Allegedly.
All right. Let's get things started. Look, I'm an offensive guy, and more than that, I'm a Ben Roethlisberger guy. We know this. Everyone knows this. And here we go. Let's start off talking about some offense today. We're going to be focusing on the offensive side of the football on this episode. And the headline that we're going to start off with is, how is this Steelers offense going to look if it's going to be successful in 2020? Now, first, let's assume, and I know that it's a big assumption, that Ben Roethlisberger is healthy and able to play for the majority of the season. We'll put it that way. The vast majority, he is in the lineup. Lance, tell me what you think. Describe it for me.
Well, if you can,
what are the Steelers going to do?
If you're looking at the show on YouTube, you know I'm rubbing my elbow with the JH21 salve, but
deer antler spray.
See, this has gone left because the live chat has gone left as well. Here in the live chat, I'm seeing gorilla testosterone, all types of stuff in the live chat. It is absolutely wild. But I think, and we'll get into it later in the show, but I think it's going to be not a home run hitting offense. Because we and Jeff were talking about in the last 17 years, I was so bored one day. I was just looking at Steeler passing plays for like the last 17 years under Ben Roethlisberger. And I swear, and I'm going to ask the Oracle Dave Schofield to figure this out. I think the Steelers under Ben Roethlisberger have had a long completion of at least 65 yards every single season. He likes to throw the ball deep. I mean, that's one thing. That's the one staple of Ben Roethlisberger is probably improvising, getting sacked, and completing the deep ball and winning games, and passive aggressive comments. So you put all those 5 things together.
You just had to throw that in there. You just had to throw it in there.
I'm sorry. I had to hit him with a kidney shot. I think the offense is going to look a lot like it did in, that would be 2018 under Randy Fichtner, where it would be a little more conservative, a little more run after the catch, a little more focused on completing passes, as opposed to being super ultra aggressive with downfield throws. I think it's going to be more trying to get more yards after the catch and more out of, not trying to be so aggressive downfield. So I think it's going to be a singles and doubles offense as opposed to a triples and home run offense. So I think you're going to see higher completion percentage, more efficiency on third down, so on and so forth, where he's cerebrally playing the position more so that kind of late Todd Haley, Ben Roethlisberger, where he was really more cerebral than earlier in his career. I don't think they're going to go back to, just because he had the surgery, you're going to see Ben circa, Wiz and Hunt or early Arians 7-step drops, really trying to just take advantage of the bionic Big Ben arm and throwing the ball downfield. I think it's going to be a little more run after the catch, singles and doubles offense.
Well, you kind of answered my question I was going to ask you, and that was, would you sacrifice explosiveness for more efficiency? And it sounds like you're saying yes, right?
Yeah, I would. I mean, but I think you have to do it smartly, because I still think you need to, it's still very hard to sustain 10, 12, 14 play drives, 8, 9, long drives are hard. Typically somebody's going to make a mistake. You're going to give up a sack. Another team is going to make a good play. They're going to have a good play call on defense and be able to beat you that way. So I think that the offense is going to be more small ball, more efficient.
I just hope that they don't turn into the Todd Haley bubble screen. Everyone remembers what that was like, and that was awful. It worked on occasion. They would hit Martavis Bryant out on the flat, and he'd get 5 yards because obviously the defender's playing off. That's no one wants to see that. I just hope that's not what this evolves into in terms of efficiency. I'm all for efficiency, but Lance, answer this question. Where does the running game play come into play here? Well, James Conner, Jalen Samuels, Benny Snell Jr., a rookie, Kareth White, I don't care who it is. In terms of efficiency, in terms of this offense, where does the running game fit into how this team is going to win with a I guess you could just say a competent offense in 2020?
Jerry Cherry Band. Now, who's Jerry Cherry? Is that a rock star of some sort?
That's his band.
Oh, that's his actual band. So
yeah, he's in a band. He's always in on the preview, man. He's a good guy.
Oh, big up to Jerry Cherry. And I'm laughing at Jerry Cherry's comment, wishful thinking. He's probably right that it probably is wishful thinking that the offense is going to go to a smaller, more efficient double singles offense. It probably is wishful thinking, because guess what you don't do, Jeff? You don't get your elbow repaired to hand the ball off. I mean,
No,
you
you
don't
sling that rock.
you
I mean, we know
you,
this. I mean, we know that he's
you
gonna.
sling
We
you sling that
we
thing.
yeah, we know he's gonna throw it. Like no one's debating is Ben gonna throw the ball. Like we know he's gonna throw it. My question is, how did they? Let me rephrase it. This might help you out a little bit. How do they utilize the running backs in this offense to make it even more efficient and make it more stable?
I'm going to say the offense. I'm going to answer it by giving a percentage of run, pass, run. I'm going to start with the pass. I'm going to go with 65+% pass, 35% run. I think the run is going to be
Are you
complimentary.
serious? 65-35?
Ben's got 2
Oh,
years left, man.
going down in a place of glory.
He's not coming back to hand that rock off. No way. He's not throwing a Nerf ball in the gym and growing that beard to come back and hand the thing off. And I don't want him to, honestly. I don't want him to hand it off to that complement of running backs. I think that would be foolhardy. If anything, you throw it to him, but you don't hand it to him. I mean, it's going to be Big Ben 65 to 70% throw it. He's going to be throwing it out the yard. He's going to feel frisky. Look, Jeff, the signs are there. His arm is repaired. He says he feels healthier than he ever felt before in his life. That's 1. 2, he said, I'm not fat. I'm actually in the best shape that I've been in the last 10 years. I feel better than ever. So add the two together. Better shape, better arm does not equal handoff. Maybe that should be an algebraic equation. BA plus BS does not equal HO. He's not handing the ball off. He's chucking that thing.
Yeah. Well, here's a question. Let me find it quickly. That Jerry Cherry Band asked, and we've talked about him a lot. Be honest here, Lance. He said, can Ben be a team player? For those that are listening in audio, can Ben Roethlisberger be a team player? Now, Lance, I want you to put your hatred towards number 7 to the side. Look at what it was like the last 2 years, mainly 2018. And do you think Roethlisberger could put the team in front of himself, and maybe that'll actually equate to wins? What do you think?
Yes, I think he can put himself in front of the team. Did you hear how I answered that? That means I said he's going to be selfish in a nice way. I mean, Ben's going to be Ben. I mean, Ben's not going to change. I mean, Ben got a restructured contract. He got $21 million for not playing. I mean, why would Ben change? Clearly, however, Ben has been. You see the Bens. Ben has been.
Mm-hmm.
You see how Ben has been over the course of his career. That why would he change? I mean, he's getting paid. He's got paid almost $250 million. Why change? Ben is going to be about Ben, and hopefully that includes winning. I mean, Ben's going to sling that thing. If they win as a result, they win. But he's going to play how he wants to play in the last 2 years of his career, and I don't blame him. I mean, I don't know if he'll be like his idol number 7 and hand the reins over and the responsibility of being an efficient offense to another player. But if you look at the Steelers offense, who is that other guy anyway? I mean, they don't have another guy that can carry that offense. So it's got to be Bionic Big Ben.
To me, if we bring it full circle back to the initial question, and that is, how's the offense going to look? It all depends. And I think about when this offense was at its peak. And in my opinion, that was about from 2014 to 2017. And that was when you had the killer bees, Brown, Bell, Bryant, Ben. I mean, they had a myriad of weapons every single time they lined up. And you saw, this was when, especially 2014, that's when Le'Veon Bell almost had 1,000 yards receiving. They were so concerned about the deep threat to Bryant. They were concerned about Antonio Brown. They would be so far off the line of scrimmage. The box would be so light. Everyone remembers those little dinky passes to Le'Veon Bell, and he would take 10, 15 yards at a chunk. Do you think this offense has the receivers to require that amount of respect from a defensive secondary to allow someone like James Conner, who has proven that he can catch the football out of the backfield, and allow him to get in space and them to utilize the pass as an extension of the run with those short passes to the running back?
I don't think so. I think they're going to have to. I think with the addition of Ebron, not Enron, Ebron, as I'm getting ripped every week in the comments about my pronunciation of the tight end's name.
They must be
Bron.
first time. They must be first time viewers of the show because Lance has been butchering names since
yes,
forever.
Bron. No, I don't think they have that one player in the wide receiver core that a team is overly concerned with, that you're going to absolutely put double coverage on, that you're going to give the AB respect factor to, Mr. Third and Fifth. However, I think when you add the weapons together as a collective, I still think they're very dangerous. And I was going to ask you, Jeff, looking at their offense, what is the missing piece from the skill position perspective? My thought it is that big-bodied wide receiver that's like Martavis Bryant.
Well, I don't think it has to even be a big body receiver. It's just a speedster, someone that can really stretch the field. And maybe that's Deion Kane. I don't know. And that's what some people laugh at that because we saw a very small sample size of Deion Kane. But, when we had Chris Carter on the show last week of DK Pittsburgh Sports, he spoke very highly of Kane and what he thought he was able to do in the short amount of time. But Deion Kane combined, or honestly, James Washington. I'm not saying he's that uber threat that everyone's, oh my gosh, I got to back up. That guy goes up and gets the ball. He is a deep threat. I don't think they have that either, and I think that's what they're missing. I agree with you 100%, but at the same time, I'm not sure if that isn't already on the roster with a guy like Kane because we don't know what they have. Like, I don't know if he could fill that spot or not. If you're just looking for someone that can just run a vertical, Kane can do that, and he's big, and he can draw penalties. We saw that last year, and when given the opportunity, he can make plays. I don't know.
He'll have to do a play like Martavis Bryant did against Leon Wood years ago when he just ran past Leon Wood in Cincinnati and caught the bomb, and it was just ridiculous. Because when you watched Martavis Bryant on film, Martavis had a deep safety. I mean, you had to put a deep safety to his hash. I mean, he got that type of coverage all the time, and he created crazy amounts of space for AB and those guys to work. And thank you, Jav Man or Jave Man. See, I wanted to pronounce your name two different ways.
I think it's Jav Man. I don't know.
Jav, Jave, Jive. He said, good to see Lance working on his pronunciations during the show.
I send him his sight words every day.
Yes, I do. Bron. See, I told you I'd be able to do that one again because it's like LeBron, but with an E in front.
Exactly.
Bron.
Very good. I don't know. I wrote an article this past week or earlier in the week, I should say. I was watching the Super Bowl 43 replay and I got all nostalgic. And then I started thinking about 2005 and I got all nostalgic. And I started thinking about how every one of those teams kind of has that magic, those special plays that equal a championship, whether it's Ben's tackle, whether it is James Harrison's interception return, whether it's Santonio Holmes' tremendous catch in Super Bowl 43, whether it's sometimes just crazy luck like Carson Palmer's knee injury in 2005 in the wild card round in Cincinnati, all this stuff. And I kept on thinking about the lineup that you said it to me. And this one got me thinking. You said that 2008 offense sucked. That's what
it was terrible.
You said they sucked. So let's look at the weapons that they had though. Hines Ward. This is a receiver, obviously. Hines Ward. Was Randall L on the team at that time? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Nate Washington. Santonio Holmes. Heath Miller. And that was really the extent of it. They didn't have a lot of weapons, and yet they were still able to make enough plays. They had a really good defense. I'm not going to say
they had an incredible defense. I think they had Gary Russell, I think was at running back. I think Fast Willie Parker, I think was still there. Yep. Mendenhall, I believe, was a rookie. No, Mendenhall wasn't there.
No, that was
Noel Daymore, Kerry Davis, I think was still there. I remember they handed it off to Kerry Davis on fourth down, expecting Kerry Davis to get it, and he got stoned. It was just terrible. This was against Dallas because I was watching the Dallas game, and one of the underrated plays of that year was Deshae Townsend's pick six against Tony Romo to seal that victory against the Dallas Cowboys. At one point in that game, the Steelers had 79 total yards of offense with about 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. It was just It was just absolutely terrible. They couldn't block anybody. They couldn't get anything going. And it's funny you say that. Looking at Ben's statistics that year, I think at that point in time in the year, he had like 13 touchdown passes, maybe 16 interceptions. I mean, they really struggled that year on offense. I don't believe they scored 20 points per game that year on offense. They were just ridiculous on defense.
Well, I think that this offense this year will have more weapons if everyone can stay healthy. And that's a big if. That's always the if. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that every show whenever we talk about potential for a team, but I do. Health is going to be key. But, speaking of looking back at those previous games, speaking of number 7, Ben Roethlisberger, you brought up a really good question to all the podcasters in our group text, and you said, can you throw this out on Twitter? And so I went on our Behind the Steel Curtain Twitter feed, which if you don't follow us, you can. It's at BT Steel Curtain. And I asked the question, which was, under which coordinator was Ben Roethlisberger the best? Now, this was not a right or wrong. This was your opinion. So if you're in the live chat right now, the options obviously were Ken Whisenhunt, Bruce Arians, Todd Haley, or the current offensive coordinator, Randy Fiedner. So you have to think back to all those years, the early years with Ken Whisenhunt, which was basically run, gadget play, throw on occasion. Then he opened up under Arians. Ben almost got killed on multiple occasions. Haley, it was keep Ben upright, be more efficient. And then Randy Fiedner, well, welcome to Randyland, folks. No one knows what to expect in 2020. So people were chiming in the live chat. We'll read some of these. Ezra says Bruce Arians. Mule Skinner says Todd Haley. Crazy Chris, you can't pick 2. That doesn't count. You have to pick 1. Just Me said Haley. Jerry Cherryband says BA. Snowman agrees with Bruce Arians. So why don't you have the Twitter? Do you have the Twitter feed up right now?
I do have the Twitter feed, but let's before we get into the numbers on the Twitter feed, let me give you friend of the program, 2-time Super Bowl champion Max Starks's quote on it. And Max said he thinks it's BA, but he thinks it's very close. And he said he thinks it's the difference between chemistry and success versus stats and skill players. That under BA, he had a better chemistry with BA and more success. They won a Super Bowl under BA and went to another Super Bowl. So they went 2 Super Bowls, won versus stats and skill players. Better stats under Haley, better skill players under Haley.
That's a locker room take. That's no joke. That's Max Starks, who was in the locker room. But it's not a locker room take like it's a bad take. It's a locker room take because he brings up a point that I never would have thought of. I never would have thought of trying to tie the fact that Bruce Arians and Ben Roethlisberger were golfing buddies and they hung out all the time. They were BFFs and they loved each other so much that that's why he would pick that. But, it makes sense when you look at it that way. Todd Haley, we all know that they did not see eye to eye all the time. But like you said, the skill position players were out of this world. I don't know.
Let me give you some stats to compare BA, because I think we're all eliminating Randy Fiedner. Well, Randy Fiedner is basically Ben Roethlisberger as the coordinator. So we're eliminating Ben Roethlisberger and / Fiedner coordinator. And I think we're eliminating Whisenhunt because he was very young under Whisenhunt. And, he just played a couple of years under Whisenhunt. I think just 2 years under Whisenhunt, or actually 3 years under Whisenhunt from 04 to 06. Let me give you some stats. So here are the stats for Arians, and I'll give you Arians first, then Haley. So under Arians, he played 73 games. Under Haley, he played 86. Ironically, he started all 73 under Arians, and he started 85 under Haley. He won 51 games, 51 and 22 under Arians, won 70% of the games. 55 and 30 under Haley, won 65% of the games. Under Arians, he was 1,446 for 2,221, completed 63% of his passes, threw for 18,000 yards. For Todd Haley, completed roughly 2,000 passes, attempted about 3,100, completion percentage 65%, threw for about 25,000 yards. Under Arians, 113 touchdowns. Under Haley, 164. The big number between the two is sacks. Under Arians, he was sacked on average 40 times a season. So he was sacked probably close to, if I just look at it, just because I didn't do the raw number, the sum of the sacks. Let me give you the sum really quickly here. He was sacked 215 times in 5 seasons under Arians. And wow, which is just nuts. And in, let's see, 6 seasons with Haley, he was sacked 163 times. So definitely better statistically. They won more at a higher percentage under Arians, won a Super Bowl, went to 2 Super Bowls. But definitely Max's point definitely resonates, is that statistically, and although he played a couple more seasons, it's not, apples to apples in terms of seasons. You can really see that Ben flourished as a quarterback under Haley. One more under Arians, got beat half to death under Arians, but was way more efficient. Yards per game, 250 under Arians, under Haley, 285. He had a higher rating, had a slightly higher QBR. So definitely what Max is saying is statistically definitely better under Haley. Winning, definitely better under Arians. In chemistry, definitely better under Arians. So I think it's tough. And I'm not certain who I'm going to give the nod to.
Well, I want to mention something, though. You look at the statistics, and everyone always says, Arians is going to get quarterbacks killed, at least in the first year. And that's what it's like Tom Brady's going to die in Tampa Bay because Arians just knows how to get quarterbacks killed. If you look at the overall, the landscape of the Steelers at that time when Arians took over, they were still a defense-first team. They were veteran on the defensive side. You think about the offensive lines they had were, just kind of patchwork, whether it was Willie Colon, Chris Kimoyatu. Some of the tackles they threw out there were god awful. Centers like Justin Hartwig. I know I'm forgetting some, but still, it wasn't until towards the end of Arians' time that they really started to invest in the offensive line. Todd Haley basically inherited Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro, Ramon Foster, Marcus Gilbert, although I think Marcus Gilbert might have been drafted when Haley was there. But what I'm saying, I guess, I know that I'm not a huge Bruce Arians fan, but I feel like the sack numbers, some of it falls on the organization for not addressing the offensive line until towards the end of his tenure. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the sack numbers under Arians, and I remember doing this spreadsheet years ago, 47, 46, 50, 32, 40. And that's excluding all of the hits where he's getting contacted but not getting sacked because he's actually getting the ball out of his hands and the ball is going past the line of scrimmage. But for all intents and purposes, he might as well have gotten sacked. So if you added quarterback hits under Arians, I mean, he was getting hit, close to 115, 125 times a year under Arians. He was getting murdered. And to your point, you could see that when they brought in Haley, it was largely because they needed to keep Ben healthy. They knew as an organization they could not keep Ben Roethlisberger getting hit like he was under Arians. As much as he may have liked playing under Arians, they had to preserve him and preserve his career. And I think that was the biggest reason why, Arians was let go. Because at the time, Tomlin didn't want to let Arians go. Tomlin was very much in the corner of Arians. And this seemed like this was an organizational decision, made outside of the coach.
No, I agree. So let's go over the Twitter results there. We had a lot of people, close to 1,400 people vote on this Twitter poll. Again, you can follow us at BT Steel Curtain. That's the Behind the Steel Curtain Twitter feed. All our articles and commentary go out there. So, Lance, what do you have there in terms of numbers?
Now, Wizenhunt got 14%, and I understand that because they won a Super Bowl. Arians received 48%, Haley 36%, and Randy Fichtner / Ben Roethlisberger got 2%.
I guess I'm trying to think. And Jerry Cherryman asks, who is the OC in 05? That was Ken Wisenhunt. I'm trying to think to myself, who would vote for Randy Fichtner out of these 4 options?
Ben voted for Randy Fichtner.
That's it. Yeah, he got on Twitter. He was like, "Oh my gosh, Randy, come on!" Went to all his burner accounts, voted a couple times.
Let me give the listeners the eras. Wisenhunt was coordinator from 04 to 06. Arians 07 to 2011. Haley was from 12 to 2017, and Fichtner / Ben Roethlisberger 2018-2019.
Okay. Yeah, and 2019 is tough to gauge with Fichtner. I mean, we all talked about how we had some frustrations with him, but at the same time, the offensive coordinator was hurt. So there you go.
Well, here's the evidence. I mean, funny, we're talking about statistics and, statistics and chemistry versus winning and all that. Statistically, Ben's best career was when he was his own offensive coordinator. I mean, his best statistical career year was under Randy Fichtner.
5,000 yards.
I mean, he threw for 5,129 yards, completed 67% of his balls. They were really good in the red zone. I'm so sorry. I had to do that. Yards per game, 320. I mean, he was awesome statistically that year. I'm sorry, I had to do that. That's a reflex.
It's like that's what she said. Jokes with me. It's just that you can't stop it. It's just part of life. It happens.
Yeah. So who was he best under, Jeff? Like, so give me your answer. Like,
to me, it was Haley. I know he didn't win a Super Bowl. I know everyone got to a Super Bowl. But to get to the bowl, you're talking about a team effort, and defense matters. If you're talking about who was Ben Roethlisberger best under, it was Todd Haley. He was more efficient. He was sacked less. That's when he, in my opinion, wasn't the gunslinger and became more of a field general. He is not a Peyton Manning. He is not a Tom Brady. He never will be, but that was as close as he ever got to being that type of guy. So I would vote for, if I were on the Twitter poll, I would vote for Todd Haley. You agree or disagree?
Yeah, I hate to agree. It makes for a better show when we disagree, but I agree 100% under Todd Haley. I mean, he actually was quarterbacking, playing the game with some subtlety and some deftness, some artistry, not, a lot less sandlot, reading defenses better, manipulating defenses. He just played more efficient. And I think he had to, honestly. I don't think he could have continued to play under Arians because I think physically he was just beat to death, and he kind of needed to allow his offensive playmakers to make some plays, get the ball out of his hands, throw the ball shorter distances, and let guys make plays and stop taking hits. So, I really, he started to depend on his mind and less of his ridiculous physical ability. I mean, I think the thing we forget about Ben's a big boy. I mean, I've seen Ben in person numerous times. Ben's a big boy. I mean, Ben's 6'5", 6'6", 245. When I saw him, he was probably about 260, 270 because it was in the off season. But, he was as big as, what was the big tight end that he had, the blocking tight end that played with Heath Miller?
David Johnson?
No. Well, he looked like a tight end. When I saw Ben, I thought he was a tight end at first, or a tackle that, was
Matt Spaeth.
He looked like Matt Spaeth. I was like, him and Matt Spaeth were basically the same size. And Ben has crazy feet. I mean, his maneuverability at that size and his crazy feet just shows you just how ridiculously he was athletically. And so, I mean, I just think under Haley, he started quarterbacking at a much higher mental level. And he may not have liked Haley, but Haley got him to this last contract.
Yeah. If I'm smart, or I think I am smart, but if I'm Ben Roethlisberger, Randy Fichtner, in the offensive quarterback group, whether that's Matt Canada, the new quarterback coach, I'm looking at what they did under Haley that was successful, because I believe that there was one year where Haley had the best third down offense in the National Football League. And then, and I think I want to give credit to whoever said it because they took the words right out of my mouth. Here it is. Ali Howard Species 5618 says Haley was the best OC, but just got too cute near the touchdown zone. That's poking fun at Brian Anthony Davis, calling the end zone the touchdown zone one time. But still, you take Fietner in 2018. What did he do best?
Red zone was awesome.
Red zone was where they thrived in the red zone. So get the best of both worlds, because I think those two quarterbacks, those two philosophies can mesh. You can't bring Arians in and say, let's do what he did, because I don't think that's ever good, would ever happen or ever work. But I think that this offense, especially when you look at Ben and what he does well and what he can still do well if he is healthy. Here I go again. If we know that's the big if, but still, I feel like they could continue to run with that. But, I think back under Arians, we saw Ben get clobbered so many times. Which hit on Roethlisberger resonates with you still? Is there one that stands out?
Yes, absolutely. Bart Scott.
I've got another one, but go ahead.
I thought he killed Ben. The Bart Scott hit. Oh yeah. I thought Ben was dead. And there was a hit of a game I went to when they played Cleveland. Ben got tattooed on the sideline, and I just knew Ben had torn ACL or whatever. It was the year where they played Cleveland and then they played San Francisco in the lights out game, because I was able to go to back-to-back games. I went to a game in Pittsburgh, and then I went to a game in Candlestick 2 weeks later. And Ben took a hit in that game, and I thought he had torn ACL. I thought he was just dead. But the Bart Scott hit, I mean, if you guys are of the age, if you guys ever played Pac-Man, you ever played Pac-Man, Jeff?
Yeah.
So you played Pac-Man. So I'm dating myself. And I played Pac-Man when it was in the arcade. And so they had these things called the ghost patterns, where you could just go through the game in a certain pattern, and you could go right through Blinky or whatever his name was, right? The red one. I forget what the red one's name, the ghost, because you did a ghost pattern. That's what it looked like when Bart Scott hit Ben Roethlisberger. It looked like he went through Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, I really thought he killed Ben, and Ben actually got up after the hit. I couldn't believe it, but that was the hardest I've ever seen Ben get hit.
Yeah, it was that, or obviously the Haloti Nana punch to the nose, where his nose literally looked like a Z. It's not supposed to look like that. And hey, shockingly, they didn't call it. That's amazing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bart Scott did not come on the blind side. He did. He hit him square in the chest. Am I right?
No, he came through his back. He hit him blind side. I believe.
All right.
I think he came through his back, and you saw Ben kind of. When you get hit in the back and both your arms go up.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, and your back comes through your chest, and your arms, your shoulders concave. It looked like his shoulder blades touched themselves. That's how hard he got.
Well, the funny thing is, though, you make fun of Ben a lot and you hate on Ben a lot. And I'll say this, Mule Skinner, I'll put it on the screen here. He said Ben's tough, and he can be a little bit dramatic with certain injuries, and he can definitely pump them up. My wife still. It's horrible. She's a horrible person for making fun of him during this. Do you remember when he had the spinal concussion? I want to say it was against Cleveland, like week 17, where he was just on the field, wasn't moving. We're like, what the heck? He barely got touched. And turns out he was fine, obviously, but he was going off the field and he just barely put his thumb up. My wife still does that. She goes, he's such a drama queen.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, and I'm not disagreeing, he is tough, man. You can't take that away from him.
Oh, yeah, he's tough. I mean, all NFL players are tough. It's just the degree of toughness. They play with a high threshold of pain. And, oftentimes as fans, we say, yeah, man, I'd go out there and I'd play if I had you could make all that money. And I tell people, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. After a couple of weeks, if your job asked you to essentially come to work feeling the worst that you've ever felt in your life, and not only come to work, but to perform at a high level, and then you're going to get criticized by guys like you in the live chat and us on the mic. No way. I mean, part of their job description is taking drugs that enable them to play when they probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
and having like kidney failure and liver failure and stuff like that after their career because they took Toradol and shouldn't have been playing and should have been basically on the sidelines for 7 weeks. Just imagine Hines Ward played with a torn labrum as a wide receiver. He tore it in the first week and played another 15 games with a torn labrum as a wide receiver and didn't practice the whole year, but just played on Sundays. I mean,
well, I bet Max could tell you some stories about his back. I know he had back issues and stuff like that. Everyone remembers when Jerome Bettis, remember when they were shooting up his hamstring and they hit a nerve and his leg went numb and he couldn't play. And it was
that was against the Ravens. I think it was.
I believe it was.
Because I mean, during the quarantine, man, I've been watching a bunch of Steeler games over. Because ironically enough, if you guys want to watch Steeler games, I'm not going to rat anybody out on YouTube. Let's just say there are a ton of games on YouTube that you can watch, and this was a game. I believe it might have been a divisional round. When Jerome Bettis got hurt against Baltimore the year they beat Baltimore 3 years in a row after Baltimore was defending their championship. Ironically, I went to the game in Baltimore and watched Bobby Shaw. Well, I didn't see Bobby Shaw score the touchdown from Cordell because Steeler fan was beating up Raven fan in the bathroom. So, but that was entertaining because he was smacking those guys around. It's still one of the best sights I've ever witnessed at a football game.
There you go. Hey, let's hear Crazy Chris puts $4.99 in the tip jar and says, thank you guys all. I'm all here all day at work at the grocery store. Just wanted to say thank you guys and the BTSC podcast. You keep me going strong. You guys rock. Thank you. And anyone else out there
that is at a grocery store, man, stay safe.
I mean, anyone that's in the healthcare industry or is deemed essential and has to deal with the general public. Like I know my father-in-law's wife, she works for a financial firm, but they lock the front door. Like she's basically in her office by herself. You're in a grocery store, you have no option. Like you're working with the general public and you're deemed essential. So obviously anyone out there,
let me just say this.
Sure.
Yeah. I had to go to Lowe's. Lowe's is like Home Depot in California. There might be Lowe's in Maryland. I'm not sure.
There are Lowe's.
And
nationwide.
I mean, we all know about social distancing. So Lowe's has done a pretty good job of putting some stuff down, in line. So you stay about 6 feet apart. I mean, luckily my daughter was there. I almost caught a charge, Jeff. I mean, this guy was basically just rubbing my back in line. I'm just like, dude, man, how you post up and, you're in the post. I had to hit him with a bow in the post. I had to swing an elbow like I was getting a rebound. And the guy looked at me like, why is this guy swinging elbows at me? I was like, dude, 6 feet. And my daughter kind of just said, there he goes again. Let me just go stand over here because he's going to act like a fool. But yeah, it almost got ugly. Yeah, I had to throw some bows.
There you go. Now, Mule Skinner says you guys do deserve an award for keeping the faith. Hard times for lots of folks. I do want to say that, we continue to do our podcast. Believe it or not, Lance, and I'm privy to some of these emails from our podcast platform is actually Megaphone. And so we upload through, we insert ads through. Podcast numbers are way up during this quarantine. Why? Everyone's sitting at home.
Yes.
Actually thinking about, I could probably listen to a Steelers podcast. And then they look it up and they find us, and that's great. But
thankfully, we're not essential.
No. Well, I'm essential. I can just work remotely.
And I can just work remotely. So we're not essential enough to actually go outside.
Yeah. Reed wants to know if what happened in line is what happened with Tupac.
If you guys, I don't know what show I did that, but
you were on with me. I don't know if it was a Sunday show or a Wednesday show. I think it was a Wednesday show.
Yeah, that refers to a story where I almost had a physical confrontation with Tupac, and so the rumor is I killed Tupac.
They should look into that. They should look into that because I think that's still an unsolved mystery.
Yes, it is. No, but I did not kill Tupac. No, Hot Wings and Hennessy probably killed Tupac.
Well, not Hot Wings, right? Lemon pepper?
No, he liked hot wings and Hennessy, but actually,
Okay.
hot ones killed Tupac, not Hennessy or hot ones. Actually, a whole bunch of hot ones actually killed Tupac. Pause. I want to be
Oh my
insensitive.
goodness.
We're off the
I get it.
rails officially.
Yes, we're officially. It's the end of the show. This was a great show because it was all offense, all Ben, all number 7. Lance probably hated it. He's probably going to listen tomorrow like, this show is awful. I think it's great because
No,
let's
I
be
liked
honest.
it. I like that question. Because honest, I mean, Jeff, the question for next year is what's Ben going to be? I mean, that's the question that's hovering over the entire building. I mean, with their defense, if Ben is right, they've got a great shot, particularly with TB12 going to the NFC and him about to be stretched out by BA.
He is the linchpin. Period.
Yes,
he is the linchpin.
Yeah, no Ben, and hopefully they'll figure out a way to get a backup quarterback in here so that they don't lose the season.
They're not gonna need him. Ben's gonna light this thing up, man. He's gonna light up the AFC North like a freaking Christmas tree. I say it before, I'll say it again. No team has ever won the AFC North 3 years in a row since it became a division. None. Ravens have won it 2 years in a row. Their time's done. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Well,
Steven, I understand. Hold on, I don't want to interrupt you. Steven says, when was the last time I did a desk pop? That's a joke. September 2007 was the last time I did a desk pop.
That means
have you seen that movie, The Other Guys?
Yes,
Will Ferrell,
that's the one where they jumped off the roof and died.
Yeah, but that's the very beginning. Yeah.
That's the very beginning. The Rock and who? Sam Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. They jumped off a building.
He said they go up to Will Ferrell and say, "When was the last time you did your desk pop?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "You shoot your gun in the office." Like, you mean shoot my firearm? He goes, "Yeah." Like, when was the last time you did your desk pop? He takes his gun. Hey, that's on Netflix now. So if you've never seen that movie, you have to see it. It is hysterical.
You see the vodka drinker, he says, "I need a Tupac teardrop meme." That'd be pretty funny. You know what, Jeff, we need for the show? And
what's
maybe
that?
Jerry, was it Cherry
Band.
I was going to say Cherry Jerry. Sorry.
No, that's not it.
Pause. Jerry Cherry. So Jerry Cherry, we need some intro music. We need some intro music, and we need some background. Whoever was going to do the background, so the black background.
Getting Ben with Bo. He's MIA. Haven't heard. I have his email. I'll have to send him an email. He was going to do a background.
We need to glam this up. We need some Jerry Cherry Band or something, or maybe you, Jeff. You can hit us with some intro music. You play the guitar. Maybe not.
I dabble.
Not sing. You don't sing, do you?
I do. I actually do.
Okay. Well,
that's actually what I do best.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've only played the guitar for a few since when I started. That was probably about. Well, it's been a while. It's over a decade.
Can we put you on auto tune, Jeff, so we may not recognize you?
Yeah, like Post Malone.
Yeah, put you on auto tune. Get you a bunch of tattoos on your face and craft some lyrics and hit some harmonies. Yeah, man. Come on, Jerry Cherry. Jerry just said we can have his music license free.
Nice. We'll work on that. It's the off season.
Yeah, Jerry, as long as you're not we can't have explicit lyrics on YouTube. Right. We don't want to get banned, Jerry. Don't get us banned.
Ezra says it best. Hit the like button, people. Like. Hit the like button. People ask me, like, why does it matter? It matters because it helps with the algorithm. The more likes your video gets, the more subscriptions you have. When people type in Steelers video or Steelers podcast, ours come up towards the top, and that's what we want. So, Lance, with that said, Jeff, send us off.
Can I do some wrestling? You said, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Can I do like a wrestling in person? It matters because I say it matters. That's why it matters. I just had to channel my inner.
They've been running some old WrestleManias recently on ESPN.
And the early WrestleMania in LA. I went to that one.
I don't know. You'd have to tell me what number it was.
It was maybe 2.
Well, 2 was when Hulk Hogan. I thought that was in New York.
I thought I went
when he body slammed Andre the Giant.
I think I went to one in the sports arena.
Okay.
I think I went to early. I was a huge wrestling fan. I could do all the finishing maneuvers and everything.
But The Rock, man, it doesn't matter what you think.
It matters because I say it matters. And with that, tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe.
Amen. Watch out for that people's elbow. We'll see you next week for another episode of The Standard is the Standard. Take it easy. Be safe, everyone.